And we are live. Good morning, everybody. It is Road to Recovery. It is October 3rd. Can you believe it's already October? Good Lord. Man, whew, this year has been going by pretty darn fast. Good morning to everybody. This is a channel about porn addiction and porn addiction recovery. I am coming on live every Monday morning now as an opportunity to allow others to come in. And if you choose to chat about your recovery, you can. I'm at least leaving the door open. As I've mentioned before, my other cast, that I am going to be continuing to do this every Monday morning. And this is going to give you the opportunity to just dial in and just talk if you want to. I've got things I want to talk about, and I will fill up time here talking about news and events as I've seen them transpired. And if you want to come back in and chat about something, you may certainly do that. And if you have a webcam, you can turn that on and I'll invite you back into the room and you can chat with me. All right. So, what do we have to talk about this week? Um, there's been a lot of things that have been going on, but there's also been a lot of things that have been going on personally within my life. I have potentially good or bad news coming up. October is my what we call the recovery month. For a lot of people who are in this space, especially if you're in a 12-step group, they'll usually choose the month that they came into recovery to tell their story. And I'll be doing that. There's usually a large crowd inside of the room, and you stand up and you tell your entire story. And my story is so damn long, I have to edit the damn thing down because there's just so many details. As a matter of fact, the biggest struggle I have is like, what do I talk about? And every single time I do my announcement to a group and I tell my story, I always do a little twist on it. I try to think of something I haven't talked about before that I want to um, relay to the audience. Some of the key points for me is like I always try to maintain like what had happened, how I hit rock bottom, my decision to change my life around, and I try to impart some of the key things that I did, which helped me maintain my sobriety inside of recovery. And those are very important concepts that I always try to keep in. But there's so many. I mean, one of the reasons I have this channel, right, and you've seen from all of my videos, especially my story series, is that there's so many details to what it takes to become an addict and all the ancillary things that happen around that, that it's a lot. It's a lot of information, and you have to take all of that into consideration when you're doing these types of talks. So October is sacred to me because this is the month I really get to do a lot of reflection about where I've came from and what I had to go through in order to get here, and I'll be doing that talk soon. It'll be second or third week of October. So, and that's also a key time for me to talk about when I'll be having for me, there's going to be a key court date coming up. So, despite the fact that I've got everything that had happened to me legally behind me now, I have a chance at redemption. I really do, and I can't. I'm not going to talk about the details right now. I'm going to wait till November before I talk about that. But it's on my mind. It's heavily on my mind right now that I have a legitimate chance at some legal redemption here, and um, it's not going to make everything go away. And this is one of the things that I've kind of realized, having lots of thoughts about this. It's not a true erasure of events that had happened in the past, which would be awesome if I could pull that off, but that's not reality. Um, what this is more for me is like it's legally being able to almost get the slate like wiped clean. I've still got one other thing that I have to do, and again, I'll talk about that in the future. Um, but it helps me, I think. It helps me understand that there's a milestone that's in my future that I'll be able to get past, and it lays outside of recovery because I'm not. This is not me working on me. This is external to me as a person, but I feel like it's something else that's helping me step back out of the hole that I got myself into. And I'm not entirely out of that hole yet. I am still very much in the dark. Hell, So I haven't seen anyone come in on the chat yet, and I think what I'll do is I'll make a quick announcement on Twitter. So bear with me one second. Doo-doo-doo-doo. Yeah, yeah. Once again, I have had to. I'm slightly late this morning, but it's been a rough week for me, and I'm just personal life things. A lot of it had to do with a hurricane. All right, let's open up Mr. YouTube here. Get to our channel. All right. And, and here's our chat. You get to see me do this live as I share this on. Here we go. Okie dokie. We will just wait people out. If I don't get anybody, we'll run this short today. I'll do about another 10 minutes, and if we don't get anybody on, I'll just keep on repeating this every Monday, and give anybody the opportunity if they want to come in and chat about recovery. If not, we got a recorded video. I get to do some talking about things that I've seen within the last week. I found a lot of studies this past week that have been published recently. And I wouldn't say that there was anything groundbreaking, and they're kind of repeating some things that studies are important. Studies are scientific studies in the area of addiction, especially when it comes to behavioral addictions like pornography, gambling, etc. All these studies are really important because the mode of thinking right now in the scientific community still is that the behavioral addictions have to be treated separately, as separately as, say, a alcohol addiction or a narcotics addiction. They want to group and classify these, and rightfully so, because there's some neurological basis for wanting to necessarily treat say, for example, a heroin addiction as compared to a pornography addiction. But the problem that I've had, this is this has been going on for a little while now. The problem that I've seen, and I think a lot of other people in this space have seen, is that there almost seems to be a attitude towards top people that are inside of neurological research that, well, because we know that there is a neurochemical uh, reason for the drugs affecting the physiologically the structure of the brain, that we need to treat this with far more effort and resources than this behavioral addiction, which can, they would carte blanche just pass this over to, well, there is trauma in your past. So, using all these methodologies that deal with that trauma is the way we should go with it. And it seems like they almost want to ignore that there still is a neurobiological reason that certain types of people cling to things, right? And you can't ignore that. You have to keep doing the research that helps explain the why and can maybe shed some light on what would be correct methodologies and treatments for these people. Um, it's if you look at like some of the people who were like early or really early in the space, like Patrick Carnes and stuff like that, trying to put a clinical model around what it means to be a porn addict and how you would go about treating it. Um, I'm not going to say he was throwing darts at the wind, because there was a lot of historical methodologies that were already being developed and designed for addicts of all shapes and sizes that seem to work okay. But only through science are we going to be able to really put our thumb on, hey, this is a neurobiological reason for this happening in this individual. And here would be perhaps better scientifically proven methodologies for being able to address people with these addictions. So yeah, we pro science here. I'm a pro science guy. I want to see the research keep going, and there was a lot of research. And again, I don't know if I need to cover all of that right now. Um, I posted the Serenity Prayer earlier this week on my Twitter account, and I'll just let me say it out loud if you're not familiar with it. God, grant me the serenity to accept things I cannot change, courage to change the things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. I don't even know why I'm looking at this because it's like I should have it tattooed on the inside of my brain at this point. Um, and I posted on my Twitter account that you don't have to be religious to understand the meaning of this, right? And you don't have to be religious to understand the meaning of this. Um, the whole point is that we have to pick and choose. We have to pick and choose the things that we're going to focus our efforts on. And early on, when you're dealing with a behavioral addiction like a porn addiction, you're really struggling with the processes that have been locked inside of your mind, and understanding that not just the actual process of the addiction, but sometimes all the crap that comes along with it. Some people are queued up on like external stressors, right? Some people have got like internal stressors that they're struggling with. And all those processes that might feed into your individual addiction can get complicated. Um, we have to understand and be able to cognitively process, what do I see and observe that I have no way of being able to fight that or do anything about it because it's outside of my wheelhouse. What do I give up on? Like, what do I just let go and say, you know what? I can't do anything about that. And what do I keep the blinders on? What is the thing that I have to focus on and really pay attention to? So the courage to work on the things you can, and then being able to ignore all the things that you can't work out. Man, there could be like a master's degree program on that. I swear to God, like it can be so complicated, and the it's easy to sit back in armchair and say, "Oh, that's not important," but sometimes you really got to do some deep digging, and I think that's where a recovery program is pretty good because it forces you. I'll freely admit I'm a lazy individual, man. I don't want to work on a lot of things that involve me having to do some heavy digging and like really thinking the process out. But when you actually start doing those things, you start to see the weight of things that weigh on you a lot, and sometimes things that don't matter will weigh on you a lot, and you allow that weight to happen. In other words, you take on the weight of an issue that you can't control. And you have to just step back at some point, take that third person space for a moment, look at yourself and say, this thing is weighing on me and I'm allowing it to weigh on me. I am allowing it to weigh on me. The Serenity Prayer, man, it is, if there's one thing that I think is just pure brilliance, it's that. If you just look at those three sentences, and the wisdom to know the difference. And how do you get wisdom? You only get the wisdom by attaining knowledge. And how do you attain knowledge? You have to work at it. All right, no one's coming in on chat yet. Oh, let's talk about gratitude for a second. I every once in a while on a Sunday, I'll think about gratitude and I'll talk about how important it is. And when we get back to the serenity prayer, when we're talking about the very nature of like what serenity can be, um, you have to be able to, let things go at times. And sometimes you have to be willing to be grateful for all the things you've got, because it's so common for us to go through our life and always see the stressor that's in front of us or always see the crisis or whatever that thing happens to be. we go through this experiential thing where we're constantly trying to put out the next fire, put out the next fire, put out the next fire. Um, how often do we stop, take a moment, and say, "Man, things are pretty good right now. Hell, damn, if this, and this hadn't happened, I wouldn't be where I am right now, let alone concerned about all the shit that's in front of me." Gratitude is taking your cognitive resources and being able to appreciate all the good things that are in your life right now, no matter how shitty things are, regardless of where you are right now. Like, you could be on skid row, and it's a hard place to find any sort of gratitude. It really is. um you know but you could be at the lowest of the low, and even at that bottom there's still something you could probably be grateful with. Granted, life's a lot harder there, but you could probably find something to be grateful for. So most of you aren't in skid row, right? Most of you are. There's probably something going on right now, whether you're watching through a $400 electronic device, or sitting from the comforts of a heated home or an air conditioned home, whatever. um, you've probably got a lot going on in your favor, despite whatever hardships you're experiencing right now. And it's always good to take the time and contemplate how good you have it, and then be grateful for all the things, whether it's your parents, whether it's family, friends, sometimes situations, a situation getting you into a good place. Be grateful for you being in that spot and all the things that had to happen in order for you to be in that spot. And that'll balance things out, man. No matter how much your day sucks, if you have a chance to really process how awesome things have been in your life. And then, let's just I was watching football yesterday. Let's just say it was a football game. You just have to worry. You drop the pass, or something bad happens, and you just got the shit kicked out of you that day. At the end of the day, that NFL player is probably, or even if it was a college player, man, you're in a really good spot. Regardless of the shit that just happened to your life. And I should be grateful for my parents have given me the opportunity to be able to go to practices, having the means to be able to, do these sorts of things. Um, the coaches, everybody in that process, you know, situations that had turned out in your favor. It's easy to be grateful when things are going good. It's not easy to be grateful when things maybe aren't going so great. But when you can turn that on like a switch, when you can sit there and say, after something bad happened, to turn it on like a switch and say to yourself, man, I am so lucky. I am so lucky to be here. Yeah, this was a really bad day, but my dog's whining down there because she wants to go back out. That's okay, sweetie. I'll get you there in a second. Um, but I am so grateful for everything that had happened. And even though things didn't work out for me today, I know that I'm in a good space. And then from there, when you start experiencing that gratitude, you realize the temporary nature of good experiences and bad experiences. That it's all temporal, man. It's all of this. Everything that we're experiencing right now is but a moment of time, and we're on this giant timeline. And some days you just got shit days, man. And when you can bring that gratitude back into your life, be grateful for where you're at, then no matter, you're still allowed to feel shitty, right? But when you can bring that gratitude back in, it takes a little bit of the weight off. Then a lot of these things that we talk about in the Serenity Prayer, these external things that are like pushing weight down on you, it gets back to that. I can observe this and say, yeah, this is an experience that isn't that great, but I don't have to allow it to keep pushing this weight on me. That's where the serenity comes from. All right, we are almost at the half hour, at almost at 9:30. I've got nothing else to really talk about today. There was nothing big and newsworthy. So I'll probably just leave it at that. I'll give it a few more minutes here to see if anybody wants to chime on in. And if not, we'll call this one a wraps and I'll go walk my eager little dog down here. She is you scratching, baby. Oh, it's all right, baby. It's all right. We'll get up in a second. Yeah. There's a common thing that happens inside of 12-step rooms where you'll have a bunch of people in a room and no one's talking. It happens all the time. Um, and it's kind of like a staring contest. Everybody just kind of stares at one another. So I'm used to this. I can do this all day and be quiet. Wait for somebody to talk. 9:30. All right. No one came in on chat today. I don't know. I'm thinking about expanding my social media presence a little bit because I'm just on Twitter right now. I gotta plan. I really gotta think this one out because I don't want to manage that many social media accounts. Not yet, anyway. Maybe in the future. All right, I think I'm gonna go walk my dog. Give it my best shot. I'll keep these going though. I'm gonna always do a Monday morning chat. And no one comes in, that's fine. Maybe at some point in the future I can think about doing it late at night. But for right now I've gotta keep it Monday mornings. All right, guys. Well, you stay strong. If anybody needs to reach out to me, go to my YouTube profile and click there, and you'll find my Twitter link. Just go out to Twitter, DM me, or you can contact me at Road to Recovery, ROAD, the number two recovery at Yahoo. Road to Recovery 11. Make sure you get that. Road to Recovery 11 at yahoo.com. Um, Follow me. I do these on a Monday morning, but you'll also get other porn and porn related recovery activity information in my YouTube channel. And follow me on Twitter as well because I am constantly posting content. So, anyway, have a good day. I'll talk to you later. Stay on that road to recovery.